I think you all need a good break. Yes, we do. You know it's Friday and we don't have combat training tonight. So a kind and benevolent coach that had our best interest at heart might let us go tonight rather than tomorrow, Midas said smoothly. Benevolent? Is that a word 11-year-olds use? Connor said with a smile. Superintelligence, and Miss Waldron is pushing high school work on me already. So what do you say? I say you're a little scammer that's trying to milk me for sympathy. I'll think about it. Use your earpiece to call me when you wake up, Connor said and left. Midas took off his nano uniform and collapsed into his bed and thought about what he should have learned overnight. Slowly, he could see things Virtuoso had put there. They were buried deep. He tried to sort through a jumble of images of Shogun and him training together. This just fatigued his brain even more, and he slept soundly. Connors was waiting for first team as they finished exercises. Virtuoso, front and center. Yes, coach? Virtuoso said, waiting for Connors to say something bad. You're off the hook. Midas took the blame for everything. He told me he talked you into it. Is Midas in trouble? Darkspeed asked. I understand why he did it, so I'll go easy on him. But for the rest of you, I never want something like this to happen again. I live upstairs from you. Talk to me if you're having a problem. Connors paused for a moment for effect. There's an old saying about talking to your parents about your troubles. It goes like this. No one in this world loves you more than your parents, and no one in this world wants to help you solve your problems more than your parents. So, why would you seek advice from someone else? That's the kind of thing I'd say to someone who's looking for guidance about life, and they ask a peer who is equally ignorant of life rather than their parents. Connors turned to first team leader. Darkspeed, use your quick brain and put alphas and coaches into what I just said. No one in this world wants you to become a superhero more than your coach, and no one in this world wants to help you solve your problems more than your coach. So, why would you seek advice from someone else? Darkspeed said. Virtuoso, why don't you finish it off? Connors said. That's the kind of thing you say to someone who's looking for guidance about being a superhero, and they ask a peer who is equally ignorant rather than their coach, Virtuoso said in a defeated tone. If there was a magic pill that could transform all of you into great superheroes, I'd give it to you. I'd save myself the years of effort and just pass out magic pills. Virtuoso, if you are to use your power to transfer knowledge to one of your teammates again, you talk to me first, Connor said firmly. I will, coach, I'm sorry. Good, then that's the end of that topic. Don't wake Midas. He's off until he wakes on his own. Also, he made a doe-eyed request that you start your weekend this evening. Connors watched the eyes of first team grow wide. I'll talk to Inferno about it and get back to you later. Go on. Midas woke up at 1400. He looked around at his room and the clock. He took a shower and slowly got ready. In the common room, he saw Reggie with lunch waiting for him. You are supposed to call Coach Connors, Reggie reminded him. Oh yeah, Midas said as he touched his earpiece. I'm up and I'm feeling fine. No, I'm just going to eat and get to class. Really, I feel great. Okay, I will. Bye. Midas walked into his class, just as they were all enjoying second lunch. Virtuoso teleported close to him and hugged him hard. I'm so sorry. I was so lost in what we were doing. I didn't know you were in danger, Virtuoso said in an apologetic tone. It's all right. I asked, remember? Midas had to pry her off him. Olympian and his other teammates made their way over to him. So if I almost offed myself, will that get me out of a whole day of academics? Olympian asked with a smile. Maybe IQ can come up with a poison that would work on you, Midas said with a hopeful voice. That's enough, you two. We're all glad you're well, Darkspeed said. After a while, Connors made his way into the room and Coach's training began. The topic was 7th team and the match they would have with them on Monday. Connors talked strategy with the group and how to use the training they had done the previous week to win. Slowly, a game plan came into clear focus. Darkspeed knew what he was going to do for the match and Connors approved. Near the end of class, Connors brought up a new topic. Coach Inferno has agreed to chaperone both teams for 36 hours starting at 1800. Dress in civilian clothes and meet at the hotel then. First team started bouncing around in excitement. Hold up. I do not want this to interfere with the Sunday family and church time we previously agreed on. Those are priorities. If you can't do both, don't go. Understood? We understand, Coach, and thanks, Darkspeed said for the group. Midas, do you feel well enough for anchor training tonight? I think so, Midas answered. Saber and I are shadowing anchor class tonight. I'll watch over him, Darkspeed said. Good, Connors continued. It's your last week of attending everyone else's specialty class. Next week, we start the leadership classes. Why did we start ours so late? Darkspeed asked. We needed you to learn what your team can do first. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of guys talking about leadership. Now, it means something to you. Who's teaching the class? Miss Hensley and I will be alternating. Spurs and I will also be rotating hitter class. Class dismissed. Today, anchor class was held on one half of the pit, and hitter class was held on the other side. Since they had to share the pit, the anchors were only doing one-on-one matches. Coach Smith had not picked Midas to fight anyone yet. He knew Midas would either get red benched by Ion or red bench any of the others with the thought. The coach waited to near the end of class for such an anticlimactic match. Midas, I heard Newton broke your leg last night. You want a rematch against him? Smith asked. Sure, Midas said. Newton walked out like a lamb to the slaughter. You know he's just going to send me to the bench, Newton said defeated. He knew Midas was fast enough to simply bench him before he could do anything. You two want to try hand-to-hand? Smith asked. Midas usually dreaded a match like that. He couldn't win. Newton was too strong and tough for him. For some reason, he just felt optimistic, or maybe a little crazy. He doesn't use his gravity on me, and I won't use my power to bench him, Midas said. Newton didn't know what Midas was up to. Or use your power to make the pit or other stuff attack me? Okay, Midas said. All right, you two are up, Smith said. Midas was wearing a regular nano uniform with light armor plates in only a few places. He knew he'd have to be quick and on his toes to last as long as he could. He watched his distance as the more confident Libyan anchor put on his game face. Newton started the match by quickly attacking with no fear of Midas. He stepped close and threw punch after punch. Midas found himself easily avoiding them. He then spun and took a relaxed combat stance. Newton tried to throw the same kick to the leg he had the night before. Midas felt it coming well in advance and moved before the kick could reach its target. Midas started to feel connected with his opponent, like they were a team performing together. Newton would attack, and Midas would read the attack. Newton would try to strike, and Midas would move with the strike. He found he wasn't defending so much as moving with. Things started to make sense in his head. Shogun had taught him how to do this years ago. Midas took a few steps away from his opponent to ponder what he just thought. Shogun taught me, he thought to himself. Newton rushed the distance to attack Midas. Midas easily redirected Newton's force and let him go tumbling past. Shogun taught me that too. It did work, he thought. Midas took a firm stance and waited for Newton to find his feet. Newton turned and came after Midas with fury. Midas jumped into the air and spun a solid back kick into Newton's face. Newton staggered back with a stunned look on his face. It won't be easy this time, Midas said with firm resolve. Darkspeed touched his earpiece and called his team. He then blinked to the hitter side of the pit. It worked! You have to see Midas fighting Newton, Darkspeed said to Connors. Virtuoso was the first to appear to see what was happening. Newton was not so fazed that he didn't mount a hard attack against Midas. Midas didn't back down or shrink away. He met him head on. He struck the larger boy again and again, driving him back. Newton was not able to land so much as one blow. Midas may have been weaker, but he was twice as fast as Newton and now better trained. Newton was starting to show signs of wear, while Midas looked more polished the more he fought. She was watching from the top of the pit in amazement at how well he fought. Her stealth class had followed her from the mock town where they had been training. Everyone was watching a fight they had thought impossible. Midas had drawn Newton in close and kicked a foot out from under him. Newton lost his balance forward, and Midas jumped a knee to his nose bridge. Newton fell forward and gripped his bleeding nose. Midas didn't stop. He jumped high and brought a kick down on the back of the bigger boy. Newton jumped to his feet, not hurt enough to be red benched. He tried desperately to get his hands on Midas. Newton used his gravity power to explode dirt up into the air around Midas in hopes of blinding him. With eyes closed, Midas could still feel the other boy with his power. Newton got another kick to the face for his tactic. I thought we said no powers, Midas asked. I didn't use it on you, just by you, Newton said in defense. Have it your way.